So sleepy. Don't feel like this. Okay. Okay, so that's the announcement. That's the thing. I have 1,000,001 thingy-majigs here. So let me just close everything. I think probably shouldn't have closed that though. Okay. Just gonna give a second, drink some water. Feels weird not having the fan on, but I was told that the fan was really loud in the last video I did. Hopefully you guys can hear me because I don't know. I don't have a echoey thing back on this, so I can't hear whether or not the mic is going or not. I think it is. I forgot. What was I doing? Okay. Mic is here. That's there. We're all here. Okay. Wait. I gotta crack this knuckle. Come on, knuckle. Crack. Okay. That ain't cracking. Hey. Fellow bunny. This sounds great. Okay, that's good to hear. Alright, I'm so sorry. I've been trying to yawn for the past couple of minutes. I was like, it's not coming. It was like a sneeze. I could feel it coming, and I was like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. And of course, it just came down. Okay. There it is again. Whew, like a cat. Okay. Hi everyone. Let's begin, okay? Hi everyone, and welcome to another Mighty Ginkgo tutorial. My name is Zero, and I'll be your instructor for this lesson. So, for this body, I'm trying to think about words. It's just escaping me. My brain is gone. That dev kit just beat me up. I haven't recovered yet. For this tutorial, we're going to be working on the Vallore Ayla body. I was told that it had no good dev kit, and I got paid to make a dev kit. And this is the tutorial to show you how to use it. Because this is like one of the most customizable bodies that I've ever seen in my whole life, it took a whole 6 hours to create its dev kit. So many parts. So it's kind of complicated, I guess. But once we start, you'll see that it's just like any other kit that we did in the past. Whew, you'll be able to make stuff for it with no problem. I'm going to be talking about the materials we're going to need for it. As usual, I use Blender 2.79 and Blender 2.72. This is a plain Jane rig, which means that it doesn't need Avastar to run it, so you don't need to really invest in anything to get it going. So yeah, hopefully you can follow along and make some stuff for it. Now, before you ask, I would like to tell you that the downloads for this kit are inside of our Discord, and the link for the Discord is inside the community tab. It's always going to be in the community tab because I don't like putting links in videos, because in case the link dies, I don't feel like answering people saying, hey, where's the link to this, or the link to this died, can you update? Nah, it's in one place. It's always going to be in that one place. Go to the community tab to download it, and you get that there. It is inside. Let me scroll on down. If you scroll in our Discord, see all the junk that we have here. Not the admin junk. You're not supposed to see that. That don't exist. It should be somewhere in here. Second Life. Here you go. Dev kit, archive, and downloads. And then you want to download this one, the TMG Super Customizable Vallore Ayla Avastar Dev Kit 1.0. Y'all know I gotta be really extra with the titles. So once we have that done, all we're gonna do is just go to wherever the hey you opened it, and we're gonna open this up in Blender. So I'm gonna close my Discord because we don't need that, and I'm gonna close all of this too. Alright, so I need to close all of this junk. Get a junk. Put this right here. I didn't even tell you that we're gonna... yes, quit. Jeez, sorry. I didn't even say let's start. Okay, let's start the tutorial and get this thing going. The first thing we're going to do is going to create a project folder. This is going to prevent your desktop from looking like my desktop and keep things nice and organized. So just right click on your desktop and create a folder for this, and we're going to call this Ayla stuff? Okay, yeah, because I already have an Ayla folder on here somewhere when I was making the dev kit. So here you go. So we're going to do this going to be Ayla stuff, so to separate the two. Once that's there, I'm going to squint at all of this crap on my desktop and try to find a dev kit. There it is. And we're going to put it inside here so it's easier to find. Copy the address, and we're going to open up our copy of Blender. So I'm going to open up a new Blender, so Blender 2.79, and I'm just going to open this up, put in the address, load in our disk. It's a big body, so it's going to take a minute. Okay, so once we have it in, you'll get this and a nice message from me. Read the message. Okay, now that you're done reading the message and stuff, I'm just going to switch it over to the UV so that I can use that later. Okie dokie. So here is the Ayla body. It is accurate to the model and world. It has a whole bunch of parts. It's UV accurate, and you can use it to develop your character if you so need to. You know, making mods, making clothes, you know, whatever the hell you want to do with it. But it's all ready for you to use. You can even import it in worlds if you want. But we don't recommend that or condone it here. This is strictly for science and for development. So, now we got that out of the way. Let's put our avatar together. This body has so many customizable parts that it is insane. It has multiple boobs states, multiple bellies, 2 different types of butts, thighs, thigh rings, hands, and at like 5 feet. So you have lots of combinations to use on here for creating stuff on there. It has a lot of combinations and stuff that you can use to create your avatar on here. No, I cannot import the shapes inside here. No. So you'll just have to use the base one. Haven't seen a butt mod since Slinky Fit. Well, this one has 2 types of butts because, as you can see, it's like one where the crack is glazed over, and then there's one where the crack is in full swing. So, like, let me show you. This is the regular butt cheeks, and this is butt cheek B, where the butt crack is, like, you know, pasted over. I think they did this for people who wanted to use the body to put textured clothes on here because it's baked on mesh. So maybe the person who can't afford clothes is wearing some baked on mesh texture pants, and they want to put the pants on there, and they need this like gloss over to make it look like there's fabric there instead of it being like those really tight workout pants where the butt is just there like this, and it's like you're just wearing painted on pants. It's like, no, I have a gloss over my crack, so these are pants, not just my butt. But for this, I'm just using the butt. Yeah, this thing has so many types of things. So we got the different types of bellies. There's like the jelly belly, abs, normal. Oh, put that back on. We have different types of thighs, like I mentioned. There's like thighs for bands. Lots of bands. No, no, no. Spot. Get off my keyboard. Get. Sorry. Cats. You know, upper thighs, lower thighs. No lower thighs, but just different types of thighs. If I could just see the screen. You know what would help? If I put on my handy dandy there, not their glasses. Never mind. I guess I'm going blind. Okay, so we're just gonna choose what we want. One thing that I really do hate about this is that they put so much effort into making it and making the mods that they gave you such a tiny thigh gap. A tiny thigh gap right here, and that's going to be difficult when we're trying to make pants, because when the thighs are this close together, they stick, and that's how you get sticky legs. I mean, yeah, we can create a workaround for that, but it's just like, oh, we have to create a workaround for that. So I personally don't really feel like doing that, so I'm just going to make a upper body thingy, like a swimsuit or something, because that's usually quick, cheap, and give you the point without having to go through making pants. Okay, so what are we doing? What are we doing? I'm gonna customize the body that I want, because I just got the plain Jane. I don't have anything special on. So hands, normal belly, take off the jelly belly, smooth thighs, regular boobs. Did I have regular boobs? Let me go through this. Oh yeah, let me show you guys the squish boobs real quick. Upper arm smooth. So they have rolls, so you can make those thingies like bands on your arms. So smooth. Where's my boobs? It says normal boobs, small boob, petite boobs, squished boobs. You just gotta choose the eyes and make it go. Okay, so I'm just gonna use my plain old regular body, because that's all I am, is plain and regular. And I want to make it go. Now, in order to make it go, we gotta kind of combine everything that we have here, and yeah, do that. So just select everything and then press join. And you're going to lose the textures, but it's cool. You don't need the textures from Marvelous Designer anyway. So once we have it here, we're just going to press Shift D and move it over to another layer. I'm just going to go to layer 2. And this layer that's here, I'm going to press A, and then let me see if I have the keys thingy. Did I have that installed on here? Nope. Dang, I only have it installed. Yes, it is. This is for Second Life. Okay, so now we have it here in our second layer. We're just going to rotate it so that it's on the right axis for Marvelous Designer. So you're going to press A, then R, then Z, and then -90, and it rotates them in the right orientation so that you can use this. Is this also for the kimono? The process would be exactly the same. I do have videos on the kimono. They're old though, but I'll have to get into that again. Hang on one second. I'm getting notified for something. Yeah, they have public kits, so you don't need me to make one. Okay, so back to the tutorial. Now that we have our model rotated in the right direction, we're just going to select it and then export it out as an OBJ. So File, Export, OBJ. Navigate to where your folder is, Ayla stuff. Make sure that you check the selection only box. And if you want to, you can save this as a preset, so you can just click it from the menu and you just press this little plus button here and you can have it as MD models. So now whenever you want to export stuff, you can just go that, and then it saves you time not having to remember to check that box. Now once we have that done, we're just going to hit well, let's give it a shorter name and call it MD, and then export it. Give it a minute. Okay, there we go. And we're going to open up Marvelous Designer. Shield ye eyes. I have no idea what I was working on in here last. Oh. Well, that's pretty. But no. I have no idea what body that is. I think it might be the one we got now. Huh. No, no, no. That's not that. That's the Vixen body that I was working on for somebody. Alright, so we gotta select our OBJ, and then we're gonna choose the little M because that's Blender units, and load as avatar, and say okay, and then wait for it to pop on in. There we go. So now we have our avatar in here, and she's ready to be crafted on. Her arms are like shockingly narrow. I would think somebody with a butt this big and this, she would have thicker that, but people do what they do. Okie doke. So now we have this. We're going to start making a basic outfit. For this, to save time, I'd usually make a t-shirt and a pair of pants, but I don't feel like messing with those damn thighs, and I don't feel like going through the thigh thingy-majig either. So I'm just going to take advantage of that nice crotch gap she got down there and just make ourselves a swimsuit. So, here we go. In order to create clothes in Marvelous Designer, you have to utilize two panels of Marvelous Designer. One is the 2D pattern tool window, which allows you to craft the pattern for the clothes inside of the window here that will be shown on this side, which is the 3D window. The 3D window shows you, well, the 3D model, and you could use that to make your clothes. But most of your work is going to be done over here in the 2D window, kind of alternate in between the two of them. In order to create the clothes, we need to create a pattern here. In order to make patterns, we have to use the 2D pattern tools that are at the top of the screen. Oh wait, I can't see your comments or questions. Thank you for your subscription. Alright, so let me make this so that I can see everybody's stuff. Okay. I think this will allow me to see everybody and work at the same time. Alright. So now that we have these at the top, these are the 2D tools that you'll be using to craft your pattern. If you are good at sewing in real life and you know how to do pattern making, then this will be... Oh gosh, hang on one second. I just gotta text my father-in-law about something. I'm at work, so I just did a text. Okay. Sorry about that. Family, real life stuff going on. Okay, so like I was saying, if you know how to do patterns and sewing in real life, this pattern program will be right up your alley because it was originally made so that seamstresses and tailors can test out sewing patterns in a 3D space before they go and waste money and materials on doing it with in real life. And then dirty 3D scum folk saw this and was like, oh, we can make clothes! And we kind of sort of jacked it from them. So it still has its original purpose, but it's still flexible enough for us who don't know diddly squat about making clothes to be able to make clothes inside here. So basically, for us that don't know how to do patterns, all you have to do is the link post for the program here. For the program, everything that's downloadable is inside of our Discord, including the programs that I'm using here. The programs, what is it called? Plugins, the add-ons, the dev kits, all of that is inside of our Discord. So you can get that from the community tab on our YouTube channel. So just click on our thing and then go to community, and then in there should be the link. Just maybe have to scroll down a little bit, but in there is the link for our stuff. So you can get all our treasures there and follow along. Okay, so basically with this, you can get away with just drawing the shape of the clothes and sewing the patterns together, and that usually makes you create a pattern. I mean, a garment. Now, you don't have to, I can't stress this enough, you do not have to create the entire garment in Marvelous Designer. You can just get the bones of it going. Like, that's really bad thing to say because bones is a term of 3D creation. You just need to get the like general structure of your garment going, and you can fix it up in Blender. So it's okay if you don't like, oh, this is sticking out here, or how do I get this? How do I puff this up? Just draw it the best you can and then fix it in Blender. Nobody does it all in Marvelous, and if they do, they're lying. So, so don't worry about it. So let's get to the actual creation of the stuff. Sorry I wasted your time, but I just wanted to make a few things clear so that you were all comfortable. And I'm sorry for the banging you hear in the back. My chair is breaking and I need to screw the armrest on and I refuse, so it just keeps bumping against my computer. So that's what that is, and I'm sorry. Okay, so let's talk about these tools that help you create your pattern so you can get the making clothes. At the very top of your screen, you'll notice that there are a bunch of tools that you can use to make stuff. Sometimes when you open up Marvel's Designer, it may not have it. It may look like this, and if that's the case, just click on the gray area right here and then make sure that this box, all of the boxes are checked. Most importantly, the 2D pattern toolbar, and that will give you all of the pattern tools you want to make. The one you're going to be using the most is this guy right here, the Create Polygon tool, and this one will allow you to create any shape that you want as long as you return back to the first dot. Now you can see that a pattern has been created, but it's not showing up over here in the 3D window. You may think, oh no, I did something wrong, but no, you didn't do anything. We just aren't in sync. So to sync the pattern window with the 3D window, you just have to click on this little box right here and click this red recycling button, and you'll see that the pattern will show up here, and then anything else that we draw here will also show up on the side of the 3D window. So once we got that done, we could just delete this right here because I don't need it. Next to that is more pattern tools. We have the square, which allows you to make boxes and squares the way you want to, because trying to do that with the polygon tool is humanly impossible. That is a good way to find vampires. If they can make a perfect square with the polygon tool, you got yourself a vampire on your hands, and watch your neck. So that helps you with that. So we're going to just delete that so I can get these out of the way. Next thing you want to look at is the circle square, and this will help you make circle patterns or circle skirts and circle things, because if making a square was impossible, trying to make a perfect circle would be damn near not doable, totally impossible. So those are the pattern tools that you'll be using. Now they do have precise pattern tools. So like, let's say if you wanted to make a square and you wanted to have exact exact measurements, you can just right click inside the pattern window and you can input those right here and click OK, and it will generate a square or a circle with those exact measurements. Now I don't use those because I like to feel my patterns while I'm creating them, plus I have no idea how big 500 millimeters is, so I just draw it. But some people actually have brains, so they know how the stuff works, so they can do that. Next to that is our pattern manipulator tools, which allows you to, as I just said, manipulate the patterns, and they're shown here by arrows. So you can click the edit pattern and you can click on it, and then you can edit your stuff. Then you have the group, which allows you to manipulate group patterns, like, hold down shift and you can select it and you can manipulate two pieces of pattern at once. Hey Mimi. Next to that, we have the edit curvature, which will let you add a curve to your patterns, and this one lets you refine. What is this? This is the add curve, so you can add more points to it to further refine your curves, like such. Oh, I forgot. That's a whole different button right here, and this lets you edit the curve even more intensely. So you can make your curves even curvier if you wish to. And then next to that, baby, is this one, add point to your pattern. So let's say you drew out a pattern and it ain't quite working and you need more geometry to work with. You would push that and it allows you to add more points of editing, manipulation to your pattern. So that's how that goes. So all you do is really just playing around with those in order to get something going, and then you will have it. Ah, that's the knuckle. Okay, so now that we have that done, let's go make something for our baby to wear because she's white, blank, and nude, and she needs to have something to cover her shame. So I'm going to show you how to make a quick bodysuit, just a little leotard thing, and you can go from there. Oh, hang on one second. She has zero shit. She really don't. Mm-hmm. I knew it. Mm-hmm. Sorry, y'all. I'm trying to get this done, but real life stuff has been happening all day, and now it's starting to explode. So, whew. All right. I think I have my Facebook closed. I don't know why Facebook is giving me notifications through this. It shouldn't. Oh wow. Now you'll know the names of my people. All right. Bodysuit. Yeah. So we're gonna grab. I hope it's. Yeah, you and me both, honey. Okay, okay. So let me grab this. Create rectangle. No, not create rectangle. Create polygon, and we always want to start on our center line if we can help it. If your pattern is symmetrical, like if you're working with a T-shirt or something, you only really have to do one side if you start on a symmetrical line because you can just click on it and then flip it open over to the other side. Um, this is as symmetrical as my blonde behind can make, so I think she's good. So I'm going to start here at the center line for where I want it to be, and that's going to be right here at her clavicle or the middle of her chest. And we're going to go up to the shoulder, other shoulder, down, down to the waist, down to waist, and then down to the hips, and then we're going to bring it in to the thigh, and then right here to the center line, and then we're going to pull it right up. And then that's the first half of our pattern. Now, because this is stark white on white, I'm just going to tint the pattern so that we can see it. So I'm going over to the fabric, and I'm going to right click on this and then make it purple so that we can see. And then we're going to right click on it and then do unfold. So now we have the front bodice part of your pattern, and I'm going to delete this middle lock here because that will cause us more problems than not. And then we're going to right click on it and push copy and then paste again, and that's going to be the back part of our bodice. Now I want to delete this little dot right here so that I can like delete that and make it a straight so it looks like a back. And now we got to put this behind her. Now, one thing you need to do when you're working with Marvelous Designer, I don't know if they changed it in the new ones, but definitely in the old ones, is that if you are putting a pattern behind your avatar, you need to flip the pattern. Otherwise, when you go to sew and you have it in World, it will be invisible. And all of your back and butt will be out. And you'll be like, oh my God, my clothes. Yes, you need to flip your pattern or else you will be invisible back there. So once you flip the pattern, you can see that it goes where the good face is on the outside and the dark side is the invisible part, which is what we have. But I was told that in the newer ones they do have double-sided rendering or double-sided creation, so you don't have to worry about that anymore. But I still do it as a precaution because they said that you can do it here too. Oh, I started working and didn't do it. Okay, so next we need to do is sew these pattern pieces together. You want to go up here to the top where it says segment sewing, and you want to just select the edge, and you want to sew the garment together. Now, you want to make sure that your lines are straight because that tells Marvelous Designer how to sew your pieces together. If you have the lines crooked like so, what that tells Marvelous Designer is to take this part and that part together and then twist it up in the middle, which I guess could be good for certain parts of certain garments. But you know, you kind of sort of don't want that to happen with most garments. So let's make that straight. In fact, let me show you what happens if you have it crooked. Now, when it's crooked like this or twisted, you can just press Control Z and undo it, and keep pressing Control Z until it undo, and then redo your lines. But let's say that you twisted a line and you're too far in, and you're like, oh no, that's twisted and I can't undo it. Well, all you need to do is select this button at the top that says Edit Seam Lines. Select your seam and do Reverse Seam Line, and it will reverse it in any direction. It's the same way that if you had a straight line and you did it, it will actually twist it. So you want to be careful. See, it'll twist it. So you want to be careful with it. Make sure your lines are straight. Now we got the fun part is getting inside the crotch. Like so. Like all this. And press start. Now, one thing we need to do is that we need to make the crotch just a little bit lower than where it is so that it goes in. Now, we could create a gusset, which is what you're supposed to do in real life when you're making these kind of bodysuits, but that just means more sewing, and nobody has time for that. So we're not going to bother. We're just going to pull it down. And I think you're supposed to do the same thing with the butt. Like, the butt is supposed to be longer than the crotch because it has a lot of mass to cover, but we'll just see how it goes. And if so, we'll just make it bigger on her. Now, once you have all of your patterns sewn together and you're ready to go, just press play and watch it simulate over. Now, don't worry about the fact that it's colliding with your boobs or, stuff is sticking out. Boobs, there's two things that will always collide in Marvelous Designer. It's boobs and nipples. Those two will always poke through no matter what happens. And there are a few ways to get around it. One is that you can increase the, what do you call that? Particle distance. Right now my particle distance is at 30, which means that it's pretty low poly. I'd like to try to keep the particle distance at a high number so that it's not, taking up too much resources for Second Life, but whatever. 20 is usually the good ground, and that usually makes stuff happen. So just click and pull, and then, sometimes you can click and pull all day long and it won't go. So in that case, you have another option, and that's to increase the pattern a wee bit where it's colliding. So I'm just going to make it a little bit wider on the sides, give it more fabric to wrap around, push it out, and there goes those nipples I told you about, and whoa, it just wedged right up there. Madam, please. Thank you. So this is what I was talking about when I was like the atomic wedgie. Is even worse when you have avatars with very large butts. So when you got more junk in that trunk, you need to accommodate with that by giving yourself more fabric. So grab the bottom part here and drag it down just a wee bit to give her some more room to pull down there. And as you can see, it stopped wedging up because she has more fabric. We could try to pull it down some more, or possibly give her some even more fabric. There you go. And as you see, it stopped rolling up her butt, and now she's got it covered up. So terrible. Alright, so now that we have that done, there's also something else that we can do, and that is editing the properties for the avatar. So you don't usually see it, but you can access it by right-clicking on the avatar and doing avatar properties. And this will allow you to modify how the fabric sticks to the avatar. So you have skin offset, skin friction, what's that? I've never seen all the rest of that words. And kinetic friction. I always saw it like that. So you can just play with that and see which one works. I always just turned the skin. Oh no, not the offset. That's too far. It's like, why even? So, the higher the number, the tighter, like, when it comes to skin offset, the higher the number, the more farther away the clothes are on the avatar, and the lower it is, the tighter it is against them. So you can just do this, and it'll give you a bit of an offset to the body, which will help you with those troublesome nipples. But again, don't stress, because I have only seen like 2 avatars where the nipples actually worked, didn't poke through, and that's probably because we didn't have any on there. So I'm gonna turn that offset down just a wee bit. I usually have it like 3. That's my magic number, because I want it to be tight. push pull, but don't worry. Again, we can just fix that in Blender. We can change this and make it all skimpy because that's so not Second Life. You have to have a like it's got to be like that. So yeah, and I would say the same about this, but I actually find that it's just a wee bit charming, don't you think? But she probably needs more. Let's try pulling it out some more. Give her more flap. I don't know. It just seems to be stuck in that cheek. I think that might be why they made that second butt, so that it's your fabric doesn't have to cling in there. But it doesn't really matter. This is a prime example of we'll fix it in Blender. There we go. Pull out that wedgie. Alright, so now we have our avatar with our garment on here. We just have to export it. And then, oh, I could pull this out some more. There we go. Yeah, there we go. That's nice. Okay, so now we have this. Let's go and export it. So I bet you're wondering about the unwrapping of your garment. Well, that's the fun thing about Marvelous Designer is that this part over here, your 2D window, is your unwrapped mesh. So when you go to texture it, the UV maps for this will look just like that. Neat, huh? Oh, it's also why you probably don't want to overlap them because that becomes problematic later on. Anywho, let's go export. Oh, there's our garment. So I'm just going to say swimsuit. And then we do this, turn off that because that's the avatar. And you only want cloth shape. Make sure that you press M so it's on the right scale. And then hit OK. Now you can save your project so that you come back to it later. Maybe even sell them or something. And you just want to save your project and find... Where am I? Ayla stuff. And then just call this swimsuit. In case you want to go back and edit it or fix some stuff. You got it right there. So I'm going to close Marvelous Designer because we don't need it. And let's go back into Blender. So now that we're here in Blender, we just need to import our mesh. Import. So file, import OBJ, swimsuit. You see we have our body in here. And it's ready to go. But as you see when we put our avatar in here, that it's rotated the wrong direction. So all we do is just press RZ 90 and it'll come back around and fit onto our avatar. Now, we need to take care and do some editing because those nips, no good. Alright, there's actually a couple of things that we can do, but this is just a quick class, so it's like, yeah. So once we have this here, we just need to fix our nipples. I like to just go into sculpt mode real quick and just pump it up, pump it up, and then fill it up. And I like to smooth out those harsh wrinkles. Not too much where I'm erasing the detail that we have here, but I just don't like that too much. I like that's too harsh for me. So I'm just going to turn my strength down and give it a nice light going. And I'm going to get this unflattering butt wrinkle out of here. And smooth up these edges on the side. You know, do this. Nice. So now we have that, and there is some butt cheek popping through. So I'm just going to puff, just like we did before. And that looks a lot better to me. Now you could keep it there if you want to. That's your prerogative. However you want it. That's just me. I just don't like it. Oh, her crotch is out. So let's just grab this and pull it down just a wee bit. Now when it comes to stuff like that, you got two options. We can just do sculpt mode and use grab, and we can pull it down like this. Nice and easy. Or you can use proportional editing. This little circle right here, turn on enable, press G, scroll your mouse wheel in to affect your field of influence, and then you could do the same thing and pull it down if you want to. Seems like something's on fire. Okie dokie, artichoke. Now we have our body in here, and if it makes it easier for you, because I had it on in there, turn off texture solid, you can use this. And you can see where it's clipping it and fix it. So just pull this down a little bit. And now we have ourselves good. Alright, so once we're done editing and... Ooh, ew, I don't like that. Let me see. Can we smooth that out a little bit? Round, please. Alright, that's better. Okay, so now that we have this gun, it's time for us to go into rigging, which is the fun part. So we need to take our um, blend file, and I want to save it as a backup so that I don't mess up the original one because it's like, closed and stuff. So this one's going to be 1.2 and hit save inside of our folder. And I want to open up my Blender. I forgot what this is called. 2.72. Blender 2.72. Now mine's ashy because I'm on Windows 7 now, and it's not all pretty like it used to be back in the old days of Windows 7. But hey, she still works. And the reason why I do this is because this Blender has a really good weight transfer that they took out in Blender 2.73. So if anybody could possibly take the Blender weight transfer feature from this one and put it into the new one, like exactly how this is, mwah, you would be a hero forever. I'll be forever and get that. Do almost anything you would ask within reason. And if I'm not tired. Okay, time for me to get serious. So please forgive the tone change because I'm going to try to be as coherent as possible, which isn't that hard, which is kind of hard because I got a headache and it's making me kind of, if you notice, stutter a wee bit. Whew. Okay, you guys ready for some intense explanation? Here we go. Zero's explanation of weight painting, completely explained as clearly as possible. Go. Weight painting, formerly known as bone heating, is the visualization of putting influence on... Wait, nope, ain't happening. Hang on, brain is effing up. Here we go. Let me see. What is weight painting? Weight painting is how we, in Blender, tell Blender what bones have influence over the mesh. It was formerly called bone heat because of the way that it used to look. As you will see as soon as I figure out how to get back into that mode, like by clicking on the bones and then going into pose mode and then selecting the garment and then going into weight paint mode, because when you paint the influence of the bones on the garment, it looks like one of those old-fashioned thermal heat guns. So they called it bone weight to be clever, but what it is just a visualization of control. Not sure if they do that in any other thing, but Blender does. To put it simply, the redder or hotter a bone influence is, the more influence that bone has over the garment. The bluer or colder the paint, the less influence it has over the garment. As you can see at the moment, well, it would probably help if we attach the garment to the skeleton now, wouldn't it? So let's select the garment and over here click on the armature, the modifiers, and then armature, and then right here where it says object, you're going to select avatar, because I think that's what it was. No, it should be main scale. I didn't change it back to main skelly. Oh, bruh, I'm sorry, I did y'all wrong. I'm gonna have to fix that in the update. Alright, so so for this tutorial, just click avatar, whatever is named here. So that's avatar. Now, when we go into weight paint mode, you can see when we select the bones and we try to move it, the body moves, but the garment doesn't. That's because the garment is blue and it has no power over it, no influence whatsoever. So if we go over here to the weight where we turn it up to like 1, that's maximum power, full red, and let's just click a random bone, like right here in the chest, and we make all of this red. Oh. There you go. Make all of this red. When we press R and rotate, you'll see that it's moving everything that's painted red because it now has the influence of that bone. Now, basically what weight painting is for, in layman's terms, is that we're striking the perfect temperature of the garment so that it bends properly when certain bones move. So that's when anybody's like, "Oh, it's an art form." At least, I don't know if they still say that to you guys, but when I was coming up and rigging and stuff, that's what they used to tell us. We can't teach you how to weight paint. It is an art form. You must do it yourself. Well, that's what they mean. It is an art form to balance the right temperatures. So that's where weight transfer comes into play. We get to cut all that work in half and just transfer the weights that are on the body to the garment. So I am going to go back into this armature, the vertex root thingies, and I'm just going to press erase, the negative thing so I can take it. So now this garment has absolutely no weights on it whatsoever like we had before starting out. And we are going to transfer the weights from the body to the garment. Now to do this, you want to make sure that you always pick the source first, then the target. The source being the body, the target being the clothes. Always that order. Always. Body, clothes. Never clothes, body. Otherwise you're going to transfer the no weights from the clothes to the body and break the kit. So you don't want that. So select the body, hold down shift, select the garment, then go into weight paint mode. Scroll down in the weight paint thingy menu, and you're going to push transfer weights. And now look at this. Woo, it's moving. Just like that. So now it has the same weights as this. And you may have to watch the crotch because there's still some, tweaking that you have to do. But for the most part, it's done. So unfortunately, you can't transfer, export bento. What is that called? You can't export bento rigging in this old blender. So we have to just save, wait for it to be done, minimize, and then come over here to our second blender and just hit revert. And that will open it up. So now we can do all our work in here because it did majority of the work over there. So let's open up her leg real quick just so we can get a good pull, find out what's causing this. Now, if you ever notice that your mesh has gone astray and you're upset about that, just keep in mind that the mesh will always pull towards the bone that is calling to it. It always goes towards what it has its influence on. So if you ever find that you got a mesh that's going astray whenever you move your leg, see where it's pointing to, and it'll point towards the bone that's calling it. So that helps you, do the thing. Anyway, enough talking. I'm just going to turn down the weight here and cool off her crotch just a wee bit so that it stop pulling with her leg. But I don't want to make it completely cold because I want to keep it covered up with her butt. So when it does that, I'm going to do the same thing on the other leg. Select this, press cool it down, madam, just a wee bit. So there. So that way it's like still covering up her butt cheeks, but it's not going to her legs. And that's what I like to do when it comes to swimsuits. So now we got that going. It's time for us to export it. Now, I know you guys usually use Avastar, but we ain't got Avastar, and you don't need Avastar for this because all you really need to do is just use the plain Jane Blender export, and that is simply done by clicking on the bodysuit and going to File, Export, Collada, and then use the operator presets and say Second Life Rigged, Desktop. Oh, goodness. Let's go to Ayla stuff. And what do we name this? Oh, well, swimsuit. Ooh. And hit export. So once we got that done, all we have to do is open up our Second Life. Alright. So look at all those features. Upload. So I'm going to try to find out where it is. Ayla swimsuit. Give it a second. Ignore the warning down here. Don't worry about that. Turn it to low and lowest. And calculate weights and fees. It's 11L. Now, it's safe to say, I haven't done this with this body yet. So I'm not 100% sure it's going to fit. But we going to find out together. And add and come on, baby. There we go. Look at that. A bodysuit and it fits. Yay. Look at it cover up those butt cheeks. Sorry, I'm all laggy. Whenever I stream, it does not like Second Life at all. Okie dokie. So that is how you do it. Now, I bet you're wondering, that's all fine and dandy now. How do we texture this? And I would usually break out the Photoshop, but as of late, we've been going over here and using Substance Painter. It's so good. I love it so much. It is my new wife. I threw my old one, I left it behind, and now I'm having babies with this one. And I want you to have babies with it too. Pretty creative babies with textures. Okay, so I don't know everything about Substance Painter, but I do know a bare minimum amount for us to make something at least somewhat decent. So please bear with me if you know how Substance Painter work and you're looking at it like, oh girl, you're not even doing that. Sorry, I am new. I'm still learning. So we have an old copy. It's pretty great. Yes, it is wonderful. So, I have an old copy that's in there that you guys can pick up and try out before you pay your subscriptions and do it legit. Sorry, ignore this. This was a shoe that I was texturing and having fun with. Jeez, I haven't opened that since we did that shoe live. Neat. Alright, so I want to go and put this in here. My brain is not here at all. I'm trying my best, y'all. I was like my brain keeps disconnecting and doing it. What's that word? Yeah, they are Care Bear shoes. You got them. Oh man, you got the motif right off the bat. I tip my bonnet to you, madam. Or sir. Person. Who in the seven hells just did that? Must have been. Hang on one second. There is somebody. No, there's nobody near me. So what in the blinkety bloop am I hearing? I guess it's just a neighbor. A very loud neighbor. Huh. Okay. Alright, so here we are. Ooh, that's a crinkly butt. Alright, so we got our brushes. We got all of our stuff. I'm just going to paint it. I really don't know how to describe Substance Painter yet, so maybe you could just watch it and then follow along. So I use a regular one. There's nothing fancy about this brush. Where is it? It was brushes, textures, is materials, I think. Okay, so materials. As of late, I've been totally TK for the artificial leather, and I've just been making a bunch of artificial leather everything. So, look at that. Look how it paints so effortlessly. So pretty. So, hello? Hang on. Let me see. somebody probably reported my stream again. It's either somebody reported my stream again, or I was on the nipples for too long, and YouTube's anti-nipple thing kicked in, and then it just had to correct itself. Yeah, it disconnected for me too, so it's probably that, because that happens. Sometimes I get people who come in and they report my stuff, and then sometimes I get YouTube is like, "Hey, that's nudity on here. We don't have," and then they're like, "Oh, it's Second Life. Never mind." I don't know if you guys remember when it happened last time. Well, it wasn't there for me. Okay, so I like to get a nice color on here. So I don't usually. This is black, the uniform color, and it's like all the way black. Whenever I'm making something that's black, I don't usually like to make it all the way black. I usually like a couple shades up and make it like this. That way I can paint in shadows and stuff it need to be. So like this, and maybe that. And it's like, okay, cool, I guess. Let's see. Then we can make another layer. And they had things like stitches and zippers and all the rest of those things, but I have never learned how to use it. Color, profile, smart mask with brushes, textures. Is that like bricks? Nope. I don't know. Alright, so I got this. I'm just gonna grab this like white silver metal thingy. And let's see. Stroke capacity spacing. Alright, so I'm gonna make this tinier and more spacier. And I'm just gonna put this right up here. No, that's gross. How about on the side? As you guys can probably tell from this, I am no texture artist. That is strictly for the professionals there. This girl does not do that well. There was some other stuff they had in here. Like, I remember it being like, wait. The roughness, bump, normal, height. Height. I think this makes it rise. Yeah, so we can make like spikes along the side if we change the rise up to like this. And then like that. Just dazzle. You know what? Dazzle it up. If we can't have a glittery crotch line, what even is the point? And on the butt. Oh my god, I'm having too much fun. I am not a texture artist. I can make the mesh. I can rig the mesh. I cannot texture the mesh. There we go. Now we have this abomination here. I'm sure there are people who are like, oh my god, that's so terrible. And you would be right. What goes like up here and like right here? Yay! Thank you, Tools. I love you. You're so kind. Okay, so we got this texture and we need to export our texture. So there's two things that I like to do. Sometimes better than most beginners. Yay! You guys are so kind. Thank you. It's just best to play with Substance Painter. Don't listen to me. Okay, so there's two ways to get what I usually do when I'm going to export my textures and stuff. So first, let's go to our project folder, and then we're going to save it here and select this folder. And I like, if anything, it's avant-garde. That's French for bad. So I like to do 2D views sometimes. Oh, hold up. One thing I most definitely must say is that whenever you do this, you want to make sure that the light is right in front of the avatar, like the texture like this. I feel like when you have it on the back or the side, it really messes with it. So I've just made it a habit to put the lighting right on front of it. So you just hold down shift and then you left click or right click and it changes where the light is reflected. I like to keep it right in the front like this. That's just me. So once I got that done, I like to go to export textures, go to 2D view sometimes to just test it out, and then it was out of the folder. So I'll stuff. Select this folder and then export. And it'll actually open up the folder. Like, did you like to open the folder? Like, yes, please. Copy, and then let's go over here. See, I don't know how to do that yet. I just learned how to move the light to the front. And because I don't have a lot of money right now, I'm going to just work on temporary texture. What's with the block head? I don't have a head for this body, and what's underneath that head is god awful. So you get a block. So yeah, now we have some clothes, and it's this texture, which I think looks nice. Now, if you wanna, it has to be a bit. Look, this is what's underneath that. No head, default with the shape that they give you is that monstrosity. So I decided to save everybody and just wear a box. Hey Steph, we about to leave. Alright, so we got this, but as you can see, when you do this, it doesn't bring in those bumps. It's all just kind of flat. So if we want the bump that we did, we need to go back into Substance Painter and then export the textures properly. So I'm just going to export the textures. Let me see here. Sorry, that's just habit. And then go to this one right here. I think with alpha or without no alpha. Let's try with alpha. Okay, so open up the folder. We got all the stuff here. Copy. It's cool. Sorry, I didn't announce it sooner. This is on the fly. So local, because 0 is poor. This is what we really need is just our bump map and maybe our because this, I like to just use that and this. Alright. Now you can use all the rest of those textures if you're doing PBR, but I'm not using PBR. So I want to select for my bump maps and normal. So normal. And now those should be up. I don't think bump works in local map. Boo. Could be the fact that Alright, I'm going to spend the money real quick and just do it. Yep. There we go. Look at those bumps. So bump map, that's something I learned. Bump map doesn't work in, what's that thing called? Local. But as you see, I got the bumps all over. And you can't really see because I got a whole bunch of stupid light, like, bad lighting. But it's there. Eh. Alright, well, anyway, there you guys go. That is how you make an outfit for this avatar in an hour or so. And you don't need Avatar, as you can see. So, don't worry about pulling your hair out trying to convert the body into Avastar or nothing. You don't need that. Just plain old Blender. And she works. So there it is. You're very welcome. It was my pleasure to share this and do this. World Star. It was my pleasure to do this. This is like one of the most that we, after this. Yeah, you don't need it. It doesn't do anything special for this. So thank you guys for coming. This is like one of the most that we had in a long time. So 15 people watching this stream. I will say thank you all for coming. And I hope that you, have good luck on your projects. And remember, if you want to download any of these projects, or any of the materials and stuff that you see here in the video, make sure you join our Discord and do that. And read the rules when you come in, people. Thread your questions. Alright, this has been Zero for the Mighty Ginkgo, and I bid you guys good night. I'll see you guys later, because guess what? We have more tutorials coming for you later on, because we made a men stuff. We have a man dev kit in the mist. And so you guys who got the Cario body, you guys are next. So keep an eye out for that. Alright, I'm going to go because, as a southern lady, I don't like to hang up the phone. See you later. Mwah.